Ocean, November 5, 2005. The luxury cruise ship Seabourn Spirit cuts through the pre-dawn darkness, carrying 151 passengers and crew toward Mombasa, Kenya. On the bridge, officers spot something alarming: two small boats approaching at high speed, 100 miles off the Somali coast. Pirates. The skiffs close rapidly. AK-47 muzzle flashes light up the darkness. RPG rounds streak toward the ship. One slams into the hull. Another explodes near the bridge. The pirates are now alongside, throwing grappling hooks, preparing to board. In minutes, they'll be on deck. In an hour, 151 hostages. By tomorrow, ransom demands in the millions. But the ship's security officer activates something the pirates have never encountered: a white, rectangular box mounted on the deck. It looks like a speaker. It produces no visible beam, no projectile, nothing you can see, just sound. And in exactly 11 seconds, both pirate boats turn violently away, their crews visibly panicking, abandoning their weapons, fleeing at maximum speed. The weapon that saved the Seabourn Spirit that morning would go on to revolutionize maritime security and end the Somali piracy epidemic that had paralyzed one of the world's most important shipping lanes. It cost $30,000, weighed 45 pounds, and worked by doing something that shouldn't be possible: turning sound into an invisible wall of pain so intense that armed men would rather abandon a multi-million-dollar prize than endure it for another second. This is the story of LRAD, the Long-Range Acoustic Device. And it's the story of how a company that made car alarms accidentally invented one of the most effective non-lethal weapons in military history. By 2005, Somali piracy had become a sophisticated criminal enterprise that was winning. Somalia's 1,880-mile coastline and the narrow Gulf of Aden created perfect hunting grounds. Every year, 20,000 ships passed through this funnel, carrying 40% of the world's seaborne oil and cargo worth hundreds of billions. The pirates' tactics were brutally effective: fast fiberglass skiffs with outboard motors, grappling hooks, AK-47s, and RPG launchers. Teams of 6 to 8 men would launch before dawn, intercept slow-moving vessels, scale the hull in minutes, and take the bridge before anyone could respond. In 2005 alone, pirates attacked 45 vessels and successfully hijacked 10 of them. Ransoms averaged $2 to $4 million per ship. The shipping industry had no answer. Cargo ships couldn't outrun 35-knot pirate skiffs. Rerouting around Africa added 2 weeks and $400,000 in fuel costs. Armed guards were prohibited by international law and insurance policies. Ships were essentially defenseless, floating targets worth millions to anyone bold enough to attack them. The naval response was equally futile. NATO, the U.S. Navy, and the EU deployed warships, but they were trying to patrol 1.1 million square miles of ocean, twice the size of Alaska, with maybe 30 ships. When pirates attacked, the nearest warship was typically 50 to 100 miles away. By the time help arrived 2 to 4 hours later, the pirates were aboard and the crew was locked in the engine room. Now it was a hostage situation where force meant dead civilians. What the maritime industry desperately needed was a way to stop pirates before they boarded. Not kill them, legally complicated. Not wound them, same problem. Just stop them, make them turn around, make attacking a ship more painful than profitable. And do it without putting weapons on civilian vessels or turning merchant sailors into combatants. The solution came from the most unlikely source, a San Diego company that had originally built their technology to communicate with whales. American Technology Corporation, later LRAD Corporation, had developed focused sound beam technology for marine biologists studying whale communication. But someone realized that if you can project sound hundreds of meters with crystal clarity, you can also project it at volumes that cause physical pain. And if you can do that precisely, you've created something remarkable. A weapon that doesn't look like a weapon, requires no ammunition, and doesn't technically harm anyone. It just hurts so badly that people will do anything to make it stop. The engineering is genuinely brilliant. Normal speakers project sound in all directions, a cone that disperses as it travels. LRAD does the opposite. It creates a focused beam of sound 30 degrees wide using an array of piezoelectric transducers arranged in a circle. These create a parametric array, sound waves that interact to generate new frequencies as they travel through air, keeping the beam narrow and intense over distance. The numbers are staggering. At 1 meter from the device, LRAD produces 149 decibels, louder than a jet engine at takeoff. At 100 meters, it's still 120 decibels, equivalent to standing in front of a rock concert speaker. For comparison, normal conversation is 60 decibels. Anything above 85 decibels causes hearing damage with prolonged exposure. Anything above 120 decibels causes immediate pain. But volume alone isn't enough. LRAD operates at 2,000 to 4,000 Hz, the exact frequency range where human ears are most sensitive. This is where human speech occurs, where babies cry. Evolution made us exquisitely sensitive to these frequencies because they carry survival-critical information. LRAD exploits this ruthlessly. At 149 decibels and 2,000 to 4,000 Hz, your body's response is involuntary. Eardrums vibrate violently. Your inner ear's balance system fails. Headache sets in within seconds. Nausea follows in 30 to 60 seconds. Disorientation is immediate. You cannot habituate. You cannot endure. Your nervous system screams at you to leave, and the only way to make it stop is to run. When the Seabourn Spirit security officer activated LRAD that November morning in 2005, no one knew if it would actually work against armed, determined attackers in real combat conditions. The device had been tested, but never against people actively trying to kill you. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. The lead pirate boat, seconds away from boarding, veered violently away. Through binoculars, crew members saw pirates dropping weapons, clutching their heads, their mouths open in screams. The second boat, seeing this, attempted to close anyway, perhaps thinking the first boat had mechanical failure. The moment LRAD's beam hit them, they turned and fled at maximum speed. The entire engagement lasted less than 2 minutes. 2 boats full of armed pirates who had successfully hijacked multiple ships before retreated in panic from an unarmed cruise ship. No shots fired by the defenders, no casualties, no boarding, just an invisible beam of acoustic energy that made attack physically unbearable. The Seabourn Spirit incident became a watershed moment. It proved that LRAD worked under the worst possible conditions, against motivated attackers, at sea, under fire, when lives were at stake. Word spread through maritime security networks instantly. Within months, shipping companies were installing LRAD systems on vessels transiting pirate waters. The U.S. Navy added them to warships. Private security firms made them standard equipment. The pirates adapted too, but not the way anyone expected. They didn't develop countermeasures or better tactics. They simply started avoiding ships with the white box mounted on deck. Intelligence gathered from captured pirates revealed that LRAD had acquired a fearsome reputation. Pirates described the sound as knives in the brain and said they'd rather be shot than experience it again. Ships known to carry LRAD were struck from target lists. The deterrent effect multiplied exponentially. If you're finding this fascinating, hit that subscribe button now. We're about to show you how this single weapon helped end one of the most lucrative criminal enterprises in maritime history. The numbers tell an extraordinary story. In 2008, before LRAD deployment became widespread, Somali pirates attacked 111 vessels and successfully hijacked 42 of them. Ransoms that year totaled over $150 million. By 2009, attacks jumped to 217, with 47 hijackings and $238 million in ransoms. The crisis was accelerating, threatening global trade through one of the world's most strategic waterways. Then, LRAD-equipped ships started appearing in significant numbers. In 2010, attacks dropped to 219, but successful hijackings fell to 49. Pirates were attacking, but failing more often. By 2012, attacks dropped to 75, with only 14 successful hijackings. By 2015, attacks fell to just 17, with 0 successful hijackings. By 2019, attacks numbered in single digits. LRAD wasn't solely responsible for this collapse. Increased naval patrols, armed security teams, and international prosecution all played roles, but LRAD gave individual ships something they'd never had before: the ability to defend themselves. A cargo ship captain no longer had to wait hours for naval rescue. He could activate LRAD and make his ship an unviable target immediately. The documented cases are numerous. In 2011, a tanker near the Horn of Africa used LRAD to repel 6 pirates in 2 boats at 200 meters. Both boats retreated so violently that one nearly capsized. In 2012, a cargo vessel surrounded by 3 coordinated pirate skiffs used LRAD to hit each boat in sequence. All 3 retreated. Multiple shipping companies reported that after installing LRAD, they experienced 0 successful boarding attempts over years of transit through high-risk waters. The economic impact was staggering. Somali piracy had been costing the global economy an estimated $7 billion annually in ransoms, insurance premiums, security costs, and rerouting expenses. By 2016, those costs had dropped to under $1 billion. LRAD systems, costing $25,000 to $40,000 per installation, delivered returns measured in billions. But LRAD's success also revealed something uncomfortable. The weapon worked too well. Police departments worldwide began purchasing LRAD for crowd control during protests. The first major use was the 2009 G20 summit in Pittsburgh. Protesters reported severe headaches, nausea, and hearing problems. Similar deployments followed in Ferguson, New York, and dozens of cities globally. Civil rights groups filed lawsuits. Some cities banned LRAD use against civilians. The debate continues. 15 years after the Seabourn Spirit incident, LRAD remains standard equipment on ships transiting pirate-prone waters. Modern versions are more powerful. The LRAD 450XL produces 153 decibels and broadcasts clear voice commands at 5 kilometers. Portable versions exist for ground troops. Maritime versions are waterproof and corrosion-resistant. The U.S. Navy, Coast Guard, and dozens of allied nations use them routinely. What makes LRAD remarkable isn't just its effectiveness, it's what it represents. For thousands of years, defensive weapons required killing or wounding attackers. LRAD created a third option: inflict enough pain to force retreat without causing permanent injury. It's reversible, turn it off and the pain stops. It's precise, aim determines who's affected. And it's scalable, different power levels for different threats. The Somali piracy epidemic that paralyzed maritime trade and cost billions annually has essentially ended. LRAD deserves significant credit for that outcome. It gave unarmed merchant vessels the ability to defend themselves against heavily armed attackers. It did this without escalating violence, without turning sailors into soldiers, and without the legal complications of lethal force. The broader lesson is one that keeps appearing in military history. Sometimes the most effective weapons don't kill, they just make the alternative more attractive. The pirates who attacked the Seabourn Spirit that November morning in 2005 had successfully hijacked ships before. They were armed, motivated, and experienced. But when that invisible wall of sound hit them, they made a rational calculation. No amount of ransom money was worth enduring that pain for another second. That calculation, repeated thousands of times across hundreds of engagements, ended a crisis that conventional military force couldn't solve. And it proved that sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't the one that destroys, it's the one that makes destruction unnecessary. If you found this deep dive into unconventional weapons fascinating, subscribe for more.